Good morning, afternoon, or evening from whenever or wherever you are watching this video from. I am Jack Adamas back with my Premier League football predictions, episode 33, game week 33. Let's get straight into it. We start with a 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday between Brentford and Brighton. Brentford find themselves 5 points off 10th place Brighton going into this one. They do have 2 draws in their last 2 matches though. They did both come against teams in Chelsea and Arsenal which were sitting in the top 4 before kickoff. Brighton were flying and looked like they was pushing for a top 4 finish, but things did take a turn for the worst, and now they have no wins in their last 5 matches, with 3 losses and 2 draws to their name in the Premier League and FA Cup respectively. The last 2 head-to-heads between these 2 sides have both finished in a 0-0 draw. I think it'll be a similar story here, as I can see this one finishing in a draw, but I reckon it'll finish 2-2. Next up, we travel to Selhurst Park, where we have Crystal Palace at home to Bournemouth. Crystal Palace were flying, and they was on a 7-game unbeaten run, and a top half finish did look on the cards before they suffered back-to-back defeats, and they conceded 5 goals in both of those games, the first time they've conceded 5 goals consecutively since 1935. Bournemouth were being tipped to finish in the European spaces, but then they went 6 games without a victory, putting a massive dent in their aspirations. They did get back to winning ways on Monday though, with a 1-0 win over Fulham. The last 4 visits to London for Bournemouth have all finished in a 2-2 scoreline. Unfortunately for them though, I think this one went in a 2-1 home win for Palace. Next up, we travel to Goodison Park, where we have Everton at home to Man City. Everton were on a 6-game winless run until last weekend when they got a last-minute winner against high-flying Nottingham Forest. They do only have 2 defeats in their 13 games under David Moyes in the league this season, so they do need to turn those draws into victories, but they will be fired up coming into this one. Man City showed signs of the old City last weekend. However, they did have to go 2-0 down for that to happen. They do need to start scoring more goals on the road as well, as they've only scored 2 goals in their last 3 away matches. Everton have drawn their last 5 home games, and they have never drawn 5 league games in a row at Goodison in its history. I don't think they will this time round either, as I can see Man City making a statement victory here in a 3-1 win. And the last 3 o'clock kickoff sees West Ham at home to Southampton. I'll reiterate what I've been saying for months now. West Ham are just waiting for this season to be over so they can forget about this season and put their focus onto next season. They find themselves 17th in the league now, and that's no surprise, as under Graham Potter, only the bottom 3 have picked up less points than them. Southampton are breaking records that they don't want to break. They are the quickest team to ever be relegated from the Premier League. If they don't get 2 points in their last 6 matches, they will finish with the lowest points tally in Premier League history, and with an 81% loss ratio, they have the highest ever loss ratio in a top flight season. None of the last 20 head-to-heads between these 2 sides on home soil for West Ham have finished in a draw. That's finished in 15 wins for West Ham and 5 wins for Southampton. I think it'll be 21 come full time, as I can see West Ham getting the victory here in a 2-1 win. And for the 5:30 kickoff on Saturday, it is game of the weekend as Aston Villa host Newcastle. Aston Villa put in a great fight midweek against PSG in the Champions League, but they did come up short, so now their fully focused will be finishing in those top 5 places in the Premier League, one of which is being occupied by their opponents coming into this one. Newcastle won their game in hand against Crystal Palace midweek, so they now find themselves 3rd in the Premier League, 5 points off of 6th place Chelsea, and only 4 points off of 2nd place Arsenal. So could they do the unthinkable and finish 2nd this season in the Premier League? Newcastle have won the last 3 head-to-heads between these 2 sides, and they scored 3+ goals in each of those victories. Aston Villa come into this one, and they've scored 2+ goals in 8 of their last 9 home matches. I'm going to make a big shout here. I'm calling this one thriller at Villa, because I reckon this is going to be one of the games of the season, ending in a 3-3 draw. Moving on to Sunday at 2 p.m, we have the West London derby between Fulham and Chelsea. It's like deja vu talking about Fulham this season. One week I come on here and they win and I'll say that they're back in the European spaces. Then the next week they'll lose and I'll say they don't have a chance. After that defeat to Bournemouth Monday, they are back in the category of they don't have a chance. But if they was to beat Chelsea here, then they would be right back in a chance of getting in those European spaces. Chelsea did qualify for the semi-final of the Conference League yesterday, albeit that did come at the hands of a defeat. More concerning though for Chelsea, they are winless in their last 8 Premier League away matches, and they desperately need a victory here if they want to try and finish in those top 5 spaces. A Premier League high this season of 72% of Fulham's games has produced both teams to score. I think that will happen again here as Fulham do their first league double over Chelsea ever in a 2-1 victory. And for Super Sunday at 2 p.m, we have Ipswich at home to Arsenal. Ipswich look like they will be relegated this weekend with a defeat here, and if results go against them. They are showing desire to stay in the league though. They showed that last weekend with that 2-2 draw away to Chelsea. Arsenal will be buzzing coming into this one as they made it into the final four of the Champions League this season with that 5-1 aggregate win over Real Madrid midweek. They do need a victory here though to stop Liverpool winning the Premier League this weekend, although that's a matter of when, not if they'll win the league. Arsenal have won their last 10 games in a row against teams starting before kickoff in the relegation zone, and in those 10 matches they have scored 30 goals and only conceded 2 in reply. So unsurprisingly, I am going to go for an Arsenal victory here. I'm going to go for a comfortable 2-0 win for the Arsenal. Also at 2 p.m, we have Manchester United at home to Wolves. Manchester United yesterday was involved in one of the craziest games of football I've ever seen. They were 4-2 down against 10-men Lyon with only 6 minutes to go, and they ended up winning that game 5-4 to secure a place in the semi-final of the Europa League. Wolves come into this one on a 4-game winning streak, which is their best winning streak in the top flight since 1972. And they now find themselves 16th in the table, which doesn't sound good on paper, but considering where they were at the beginning of the season, it's an achievement in its own right. Manchester United have won all 4 games they've ever played at home on Easter Sunday. However, with them going to extra time yesterday and Wolves being on this good run, I think the honours will be shared here in a 1-1 draw. And for the second Super Sunday game at 4:30 on Sunday, we have Leicester at home to Liverpool. Leicester will be relegated if they don't get a victory in this one, and things aren't looking encouraging for Leicester as they host top of the table Liverpool, and they haven't scored in their last 8 home Premier League matches. On the contrast to Leicester, Liverpool will be crowned champions if they get the victory here and if Ipswich beat Arsenal earlier on in the day. Liverpool will be boosted coming to this one with the news though that Salah and now Virgil van Dijk have signed contract extensions at the club. Liverpool have scored exactly 2 goals in their last 6 away Premier League matches. I don't think it'll be 7 though, as I can see them scoring 3 in this one in a 3-0 victory. And to round up Game Week 33 on Monday at 8 p.m, we have Tottenham at home to Nottingham Forest. Tottenham's season all depends on the Europa League now, as they did progress to the final 4 of the competition with a 1-0 victory away to Frankfurt yesterday. They have lost 17 of their Premier League games so far this season, which is more than half of their games, and also 7 of those losses did come on home soil. Nottingham Forest's chances of playing Champions League football next season are slowly drifting away with back-to-back defeats in their last 2 matches. However, it's not panic station just yet, but they cannot afford any more slip-ups, as if they do slip up here and results go against them, they will find themselves outside of the top 5. Nottingham Forest are unbeaten in their last 16 top-flight games played on Easter Monday. Make that 17 come full-time as they ease out a 1-0 victory in this one. Thank you very much if you are still here at the end of my video. I really do appreciate the love and support I've been getting from you guys. Please do continue to like, share, follow, but most importantly, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Have a good weekend, guys. And remember, if you don't shoot, you can't score. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.